Hey, Mandolin here. I just want to share with you what I've been doing since the last video that I put out. I went to beautiful Mount Shasta, California. I was attending a QHHT reunion in some classes, and the group was amazing that we had there this time. I was picked up at the airport by Katie. We called her KOA Katie because she worked at the KOA where we stayed. And she came and rescued Maggie and I because we had no ride in the middle of the night. Even took us to her house to stay and to Mount Shasta the next morning. So here's Home Sweet Home, the cabin that we rented at the campground. It was pretty cool. There was a nice space out back for pictures of Mount Shasta, and the bunk beds in the bedroom is where Grace and I stayed for most of the time. Grace Love was my roommate. Here she is. She's from Australia, and Poland, but she's an absolutely amazing healer, and I'm so glad that I got to know her. If you have any chance to look up her things, her website or Facebook, please do. You'll be rewarded greatly. She even brought me flowers. So the lady that was staying next door, who was also with our class, brought her husband and her son, and they invited me, since I didn't have class the first day, to go hiking with them, and we went up to McLeod Falls, and we went all the way up to the dam, as they said. These guys were great. They were so considerate. It was a long hike, and I did get tired at times, but we got to see some really cool things. The water was amazing, beautiful. And we saw chipmunks, and we even saw a couple of deer on the side of the road. They didn't run from us. They just kind of watched what we were doing and then turned and went the way that they were going anyway. It was nice. We felt welcome. And so then we got to the Middle Falls. And boys have to climb out on the log. And they had such a good time just exploring. This is just, you can see how beautiful the water is. Not a doubt in my mind to just reach down and scoop up and fill up the water bottle or scoop up a handful to drink. Nice observation point where we could look down and take some really awesome pictures. And then this was that afternoon when I returned to the campground, just on the other side of the trees in a clearing. It was wonderful. So the next night after our classes, we had an ecstatic dance, and let me tell you, it was ecstatic. We all had such a great time. It was so much fun. So the next day we went to go up on the side of Mount Shasta and have a little ceremony, a little group adventure, so to say. Everybody was standing there. Some were meditating, some were just plain old excited, and people meeting up, spending time together, and the moon was even there to see us through it. We were taken through a wonderful meditation and song and story.
Carry me, child, I will always be. Mother, carry me down to the sea. River is flowing, flowing and growing. River is going down to the sea. Mother,
The young man that you see to the right, who's being rocked by his daddy, we sent around a chalice of water that was taken from the nearby spring, and everybody blessed it. And then we let this beautiful little boy, who was so much fun, take that chalice of water that contained all of our blessings and dump it out onto the earth. It was so beautiful, so spiritual, and just gave me such a huge sense of peace. And I'd like to say thank you to Charmaine Redwood for doing that with us. She also did a group meditation the next day at the reunion. So I got back down the path, and as we're leaving, I took this beautiful picture of Mount Shasta. And the next day at the reunion, this is my Saba. It was a day of fun and friends and sharing. And it was absolutely amazing. I love Saba so much. Check her stuff out. And this is my dream team. This is Marilyn Dyke, Sarah, I'm sorry, I don't remember your last name, and of course Grace. They are such huge encouragement to us. And none of this would be possible without Julia Cannon. Julia is in this for the right reason. She carries on the work of Dolores with a true spirit. And we're so glad to have her. And back to the cabin for the pictures. All the festivities were over that night. And just a moment of peace with Mount Shasta. And you can see some of the amazing clouds that I captured the next day. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I can't explain to you what kind of changes it made in so many of us and how much more hope we saw in people. So as one of the last times I was leaving that beautiful lady, and I gave my piece. And then the next day, Katie took me back to the airport. But she showed me Shasta Lake and Shasta Dam on the way. It was great. So here we are going back home, leaving Chicago, the last leg of flights. So glad to be headed home. And had a beautiful sky and a wonderful, wonderful crew. Thank you to United Air Crew.
Where have I been?
Before a federal judge. And tonight, we have also been...
I love you all. Thank you for sharing this experience with me if you were there. And if you watched the video, thank you for thinking that peace is important. I love you.